We now focus on Pioneer Foods' first half diluted headline earnings per share almost tripled to 231 cents, while revenue climbed around 4% to 8 billion rand. That is the next stock in focus. Let's kick off with you, Chris. Pioneer Foods input costs are set to rise dramatically. We know this. The toll gates. We've got the food prices increasing as well dramatically. Good set of numbers, but at the same time, a lot of worries that could come to the fore going forward.
Yes, look, and to be fair, I think all of those concerns affect all of the food companies, not just Pioneer. It's not something that's just you're looking at them in isolation. I think we've also got to bear in mind here that if you factor in the heavy fines that they took as a result of the price fixing, in fact, their earnings would have declined by about 15%. But the figure you've shown is comparing apples with apples.
Yeah.
So that is actually, what it does, it highlights the resilience of this company. It's a highly resilient operation. I'm quite surprised that they've managed to bounce back in terms of the reputational side of things, given the extent of the price fixing that went on there in this company. So purely from a resilience point of view, I think it looks good. Having said that, I'm a little bit concerned about the food companies generally in South Africa, particularly once Walmart comes in, and not if, but when, and they start sourcing an awful lot more of their food from offshore, and we start getting significant price decreases coming through into the supermarkets.
So hot or not for you, Pioneer?
Lukewarm.
Lukewarm. Sid. We don't have much time, and I really want to get into your hot stock pick. So give me a short sentence on Pioneer and whether you think it's hot or not.
What I like about Pioneer versus its competitors is Pioneer's growth and planned growth comes from building new factories, not buying other companies, not making acquisitions and integrating them. They said in the statement today they've run out of capacity right across the board. They're spending a lot of money not buying a competitor or buying another business in another area, whether it be food or not, but building another factory to make Pro-Nutro, another factory to make Wheat Bix, or another factory to make Millie Meal, or whatever the case, White Star, whatever the case may be. That to me differentiates food company A from B, C, D, and D. And if I had to look at the food companies per se, to me Pioneer would be hotter than the others, simply because its growth comes from demand, which is brand-driven demand. Being in a brand-driven society, I think the Walmart impact will be far less relevant in the case of Pioneer than in the case of the competitors. There will be areas where there are going to be problems. They do have a pasta factory, which could well be affected. They also are building a biscuit factory that may well be affected. But at the end of the day, I think the core brands in Pioneer are not going to be affected.
So hot for you, Pioneer?
For me, Pioneer is actually a hot stock.
A little birdie told me your hot stock pick is famous brands, Chris.
Yeah, I went
right?
to the presentation today, and I was blown away by some of the revelations that came out. I mean, the way they're talking about segmenting their pub offering, which is going to be going to the townships and elsewhere. Having Keg as the premier brand, and having a kind of thing called the Brewers Guild, which is going to incorporate some of the other brands.
You like pubs, Chris.
Well,
Scottish and everything.
You see, I think I think what we're looking here is buying into a vision.
Chris is a beer man.
I love this stuff. I make no excuses for it. But in fact, it's quite interesting today at the presentation. Kevin Hedderwick mentioned SAB at least 4 or 5 times. So I think we're seeing more of a strategic alliance, albeit loosely, coming into play here.
Yeah.
That, and you add in all the other brands they got. No, look, it's to me over the longer term, I think that this one looks really very, very hot indeed.
Okay, you've got 20 seconds, Sid. Hot or not, famous brands. Or your hot stock pick. What is your hot stock?
My hot stock is Woolworths, which I just think is very well positioned and has done a damn good job in both its apparel business particularly and in its food business, and I think will be less affected, if affected at all, by Walmart entry into the country. And I don't think it's overly expensive given where it is right now.